important. I think you just need to, when you get stuck or when you feel like you're in a rut and you're plateaued, I think you just kind of need to remind yourself, think back to why you started something to begin with and why you wanted to change to begin with, and just really come back to your why. I think that's it. It's all grounded, it's all rooted in your why, right?
Welcome back to the Tool for Us podcast, where we document the rise starting with Winnipeg's talent and personalities. We're outside today, St. Vital Park.
Yeah.
We got a guest today. Last time we didn't have a guest, and I think you guys enjoyed that episode pretty much. So
Here we go. Let's bring on our guest for today. She is one of our closest friends and one of the most sweetest person we know. Her work ethic is something that we admire. Please welcome Jillian Boychuk.
There you go. Hey, Joe.
Woo!
So-
Welcome back on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yes,
you were
thanks
here.
for
You were
having
here.
me.
You were here before anybody was. You were one
Yes,
of the. You
I
are.
was unofficially the first person.
You were, but we didn't put that out because we were training. We weren't as good
Yeah.
as podcasting as we are now.
I don't know if we're professionals right now as well, but you know,
We're getting better. But
we're getting better by the day. We know you run. When did you start running?
When I was 10,
What was that like official, like how many was that, like just starting off like 10-mile runs right away
No.
when you were like,
I think my like first run, I would go with my dad, and we only did it for training for my tryouts for ringette.
there you
Right.
go.
And I think they were around 2.5 miles. That
Ooh.
was like the starting run. That was the short one.
10 years old. 10
Yeah.
years old.
Start 'em young. That's what I gotta say.
Did you get hooked right away, or
No, I hated it. I hated it so much.
still what
And,
changed?
I don't know when I started really liking it. I don't know, it clicked.
was it more of just like getting in shape for ringette for you, or like I
That's
know
how it started.
right?
And then it kind of really changed for me. I was like, you know what? This is a sport, and it can be competitive with, you know, like you
Oh,
can be
yeah.
competitive with yourself, and if you want with other people in races, and it's really up to you. It's a very individual sport,
Right.
and it takes a lot of mental toughness, and I think that skill is super transferable to other things in life, and that's super important.
So you've competed, not professionally but amateurly. You've ran the Manitoba Marathon multiple times, I'm assuming.
That's professional, is it not? Is it?
Marathon? I don't think it is, unless you're actually qualifying for times, right?
I don't know.
There was one year actually I won an award.
Ooh.
I got second place, I think, in my age group at when I did a half. So
Okay.
I got like a prize. I don't remember if it was just a medal or if it was money, but I remember going to pick it up. It was exciting.
I got a medal for my 10K. That was a big thing. I just gotta
The
put
finish
that down.
line one.
That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
So when you're on these runs, what's your mentality like? Is it just go all full force, or is there more of strategic like planning that goes into your runs?
Most of the time, it's when I start, it's like, why did I decide to do this? This sucks. Why didn't they plow the streets?
There you go.
I'm gonna fall over. I think I rolled my ankle.
Wow.
That's kind of what's running through my mind.
You're an all-season runner.
I've become one. I bought myself Yak Tracks, and I'm
Yak-
trying to get them to sponsor me.
There we go. We can make it
So-
happen. If you're listening,
Yak tracks.
send us an email. We'll hook it up. We'll send this to them. We'll see what they
Makes me
say.
feel safer when I'm running because I'm running on uneven snow and ice. And
But that's like me. I wouldn't qualify myself even as a runner. Like I just do it for fun. But like running on the ice is what makes it, like, you know, it's
On the ice.
on the ice, like snow like this.
Okay.
Right. Is what makes running so like worth it. Like you're fighting that urge to give up every second of the run. You're like,
it's more like it's so frustrating because
Right.
you can't land on something that's sturdy, and
Straight.
so your next stride is really weak.
yeah.
You got to see where you place your footing, right? Like,
Yeah.
You ever been injured while running in the snow, or even just running in general?
Yes, I'm injured right now.
Oh,
How's
happened? What happened?
Shin splints, right?
I'm dealing with my shin splints. I literally just had acupuncture.
Yep.
So what's that like? Like, do they just stick some needles into your
Yeah,
shin?
they stuck. I sent you a picture actually. I had
Oh.
needles all the way up my leg, and she stuck some in my toe.
Uh-oh.
Actually, it feels amazing.
Does
Yeah?
it? I've heard stories about, like, people going to acupuncture and actually messing up their
No,
Life
it's great.
for
It's
good.
literally just sterile needles.
Okay.
So it's safe, you know.
What's-
Obviously, someone qualified
True.
to do it for you,
Mhm.
right? Not some sketchy back lane business.
That's
but-
where I heard the stories.
some
Right?
some backlane acupunctures. You've been around the world. What's your favorite vacation spot, or like out of all the places you've been, what's your favorite?
Oh my God, Greece.
Greece.
So, fly you out to Greece.
100%. I think about it all the time. I want to go back. I want to go somewhere else in Europe.
What about Greece is enticing to you?
It's so rich in culture and the food. Oh, don't even get me started. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was different.
So you've been to Europe and different like places in Europe. Where else in Europe have you been to?
Just Greece.
Just
far.
Greece? Oh, okay.
Well, that's a lie. I was in London, but I was just in the airport. So.
Like the layover or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So why is traveling so important to you? Like like you gotta live your life. You gotta enjoy the moments. Life is short. You know what they say?
Yeah.
Why does traveling bring so much joy to you?
Keeps me grounded. It keeps me excited and motivated. It's something you can look forward to. And
Yeah.
I am a huge believer in spending money on memories and time spent with the right people rather than things. And I think that trips are the best for that, like you spend money and you get to see and you always cherish those memories and those are honestly priceless. So
Well, we've been out of the traveling thing due to COVID, right? So we haven't been traveling for nobody's coming. Oh, I guess some people have, but in the majority hasn't been moving around. So
Yeah.
after this COVID thing is done, do you have a place that you or your family are desiring to go to? Like your next-
honestly, anywhere hot. And probably not the U.S. I
No?
think I'm not a fan at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at some stocks this morning.
There you go.
I know it's Jillian, I don't know. You say spending money on memories. I say make money and make memories. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of quote that came. That was like the
I agree
first.
with that too.
That's
Don't get me
good.
wrong. Make the coin. Everyone wants the coin, right?
Speaking of coin, Bitcoin is currently sitting at $47,600 per coin, Canadian dollars.
I'm lost. I don't even know
I
anything
don't follow
about.
stocks. I couldn't
No
tell
idea about
You. I
Bitcoin.
couldn't tell you.
I've tried looking into it, like watching some podcasts and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I may be behind my time, but hey, I don't know.
Man, I was just astonished by the number. Think about it. You invest even $10. You're at least
Yeah.
you own one coin.
Yeah,
It's gonna
back in what 2008 or whenever.
Yeah,
Whenever.
yeah, whenever it started. But it's just in starting. It's mind blowing how stocks work, eh?
It's not a stock, is it? I don't think it's
It's-
an actual company that you can invest in.
It's not a stock. I think it's crypto. It's something to do with crypto. I'm not a.
Like I said, I have no idea what the thing is.
I'm not an expert on this.
confused. I'm confused by it.
I have nothing to say because I have no idea.
Well, speaking of stock, Elon Musk just became the richest person in history. I think he just passed Jeff
Bill
Bezos.
Gates. Yeah. Or sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Joe, what are your thoughts? Should someone have that much money?
No.
No? Why not?
There's way too much inequality, and division as there is
Okay.
with
But,
money.
But
The richer keep getting richer and the poorer keep getting poorer, and there's more and more of them.
So
So-
how can that be changed? Should
I
people-
think that the rich should have a requirement in some way to get taxed more heavily, and
But-
you have to donate to a charity. What human needs all that money?
think about it though. He's worked his whole life for it. To me, yes, it's a lot of money, but why not? You work for it. It's not like he was born into a
Yeah,
family.
you work for it, but that's just greed. That's just
Imagine
greed.
you were in that position. You worked your whole entire life for something, and you're getting the rewards. It's finally paying off. You've invested the right money. You've made the right business decisions.
What if
It's
yeah,
it's finally paid off. Now everyone's saying you got too much money. You worked for it.
what if it's for your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids, so you have generational wealth?
Yeah.
Maybe for they don't even have to work, which there's a conversation
He's
that it's not the best.
billionaire, a trillionaire at this point.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
I think he
Billionaire.
could probably buy the whole world.
Yeah,
So-
I think there is a stat out there that how much money to take to get rid of world hunger or something like that, and if all these billionaires actually put a certain amount of money towards it, I may be wrong, but it could happen. But
Yeah.
it comes to the question how much money is it? How much money? At what point is it greed then? If someone has $1 million and they choose not to either donate
That's a
it or
good
give,
question.
is that considered you're greedy, or once you reach $1 billion, is that what number is it then when people say, or when people find out that, hey, this is greed, and you should not be, you should do something. Because I'm sure, I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure, like, I know Bill Gates for sure, because I've watched a documentary and stuff. He is doing a lot to give back to people in Africa and making sustainable uses of water and stuff like that. So that's great. And most of these people have signed like in their will, or certain percentages of their whatever they earn is given away once they're gone.
As it should.
Yeah. So what's the number? What's the number? Like, at what point is it just, hey, I worked for this much money and I have it, and then at what point it's like, this is too much money for you?
I don't think you can really stick a pin on that. I think it just depends on where you are and how much you're making and what it is. I mean, if you're making money, a whole bunch of it from oil, like, eventually that's going to die out, right?
True.
Do you think so, though? Like, oil is...
100%. It's coming. I think in this decade.
Agreed.
I think, like, the way science is going right now, I wouldn't be surprised if some, like, other form of soil is brought up, you know?
Soil or oil?
Or yeah, that's what I meant. Oil.
Oil?
But you know what? We're living in an age where they're coming up with these biofuels and
Electric
all these
cars.
other alternative, better, greener methods for energy use, and it's smart and
It's
more
good.
efficient, and it's way better than oil.
I think it's going to take a while, though. Right now, everybody, like, even just look at car industry alone, everybody's got their gasoline-powered cars. It's going to take a while before most people decide to go electric or even that route, right? Because there's just so many cars already out there. And then everybody would have to either buy a new car or, somehow be given a new car. So it's going to take a while.
There has to be more push from the government, because those are the
That's
only
true.
people that are going to make the change at the end of the day, to implement laws and rules, and there's no money for that, I don't think, right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't think that, as unfortunate as it is to say, that climate change is like the main focus of life right now, even though it's definitely emerging and it's an emergency.
Yeah.
Do you think in our time I don't know if there is a cure or a solution to global warming, but do you think we're at that time in, like, society with all this scientific advanced technology that we're not too far away from that solution?
I think that if we start soon enough, we start making bigger jumps, we can make a difference, but I don't know if we have everything that we need yet to turn the boat that's sinking around and get it floating again, right, before it's too late.
People just need to get, like, educated.
People just need to get serious about it, because there's a lot of flat earthers out here, right? Anti-vaxxers, and there's just a lot of different opinions, and not everybody is agreeing that the world and the temperatures are changing. But you know what? Look at us. We're standing outside with a fire in the middle of January. Is this not enough evidence for you?
Yeah, like, I was
climate
actually...
change is real?
Like, I was surprised, like...
This winter's been nice.
It's been very nice. Like...
This is like spring weather.
Yeah.
It's January. We're living in Winnipeg. This is not typical.
Not at all.
Like, I was surprised. We didn't even... Like, I think the max we hit was, like, minus 25.
Even the fact
Not
that
even. I think it was getting maybe to minus 15 at night. That's it.
Wow.
like, even the fact that we're filming right now in January, like Jill said, like, we're outside today.
Yeah.
Like, if this was, like, even last year or anything, this is too cold to be outside. Middle of January.
I can definitely speak for myself and say I remember running to catch buses and stuff when it was minus 40 last year in January. So this is
better.
different. This is spring in winter.
Crazy world. Is it flat though? Is it flat, Joe?
No, it's not flat. I mean, come on. Why would you even say that at this point? Like, they know it's not flat. They've seen it from space. Come on.
Who's they?
NASA. Sorry.
But that's their argument. That's the opposing argument. Who is they that they have
NASA.
seen?
Like, companies that go to space.
So NASA's not owned by the government?
I couldn't tell you. I think they're associated or affiliated in some way. They need a lot of funding.
For the record, I do believe the world is round.
Yeah,
I'm just playing devil's avocado.
Devil's avocado.
But Yo, because I got it. I was talking to my family, right? We talk on the weekend.
Flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, it was okay. Look. The Earth is huge, right?
Yes.
Huge. Right now, it seems flat. Like now, let's say you took a plane to New Zealand or Antarctica. Shouldn't you technically be upside down? Shouldn't like that? Shouldn't you technically be upside down in Antarctica? But when I'm sure people in Antarctica don't feel like they're upside down. It's flat.
Well, I don't think there are people there.
There's definitely
There's definitely human life.
Oh yeah, there has been because there's research. Because
Yeah.
you know what? Fun fact: Antarctica, there's a giant lake. It's called Lake Vostok.
Okay.
It's a giant glacial, isolated lake in the middle of the center of Antarctica. It's like 4 kilometers of ice, and then there is like very isolated lake water, and it has very interesting microbial life that they are trying to exploit.
Have you been?
Study.
Have you,
No, I have not been.
How do you
I
know this
did,
information?
however, look to see what the plane tickets would cost for me to get there.
How much is it?
It's pricey.
Really? Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. The tickets are nicely priced. Like Cuba.
Shut up.
You know,
I mean, if you're going to be a jerk, sure.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they gotta make the money too, correct?
You know what? I don't feel bad for the airlines. I really don't.
No.
why?
That's
because, you know what? They're run by people who don't give about anyone else, you know?
But they're also
They're looking out for themselves.
There's also people who work there who need food to put on.
Yeah, and you know what? It sucks for people like flight attendants and stuff that got laid off because they can't subsidize them anymore and they're not traveling. But you can't travel right now. It just doesn't, use your head. The faster that people realize that you shouldn't be doing that, the faster and the quicker this thing will go away.
Do you think it will go away? Like, do you think we will be
No,
back
it will
to our
never
normal
go away.
lives?
It's a strain. It's like it'll be like a virus. It'll, I think it'll flare up every couple years or so. And, it's gonna change how we live for sure. How we travel.
Like it happened before too, right? Like a couple of or several years ago, but I guess it wasn't, or was to the extent it was. But I guess now we just have more information and more, spread of communication. Like we can talk and we understand.
Like
SARS, yeah. So
SARS was different,
but
and it was not like an outbreak like this, obviously.
Like
right?
not a global.
No, this just got absolutely out of control. So.
Do you think we will ever like? Me before the pandemic, like I would admit, wasn't the biggest germaphobe. Like, I would do the necessary hygiene requirements, but like now every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whether I'm at work or sitting at home, washing the hands, make sure singing that birthday song, to 20 seconds, you got to make sure every corner of your hand's touched. And like, I can say I'm a bit of a germaphobe now.
Like I got hand sanitizer in my car.
Yeah, like like I got wipes, sanitizer. Like, it's to the point where like I know family members, relatives that are washing their groceries.
Yep.
Yeah, we went through that phase.
That's me too. Yep.
Like, do you think human life will ever return back to what it was?
No.
Agreed.
I mean, there'll be some aspects for sure that will become more normal, like a trip to the grocery store. Hopefully in the future you won't have to wait in a line. There won't be limited capacities, that kind of thing, hopefully in the future. But if we're talking about travel and gatherings, maybe even potentially during peak flu seasons, I think that there's going to be a lot more precautions.
But not only like that, just like since everyone was a more cautious, or most people were more cautious, even like the general flu numbers went down as well, right?
Well,
so less
that
people are
makes
getting
sense
sick
because we're all at home.
Yeah.
And we're being like hypersensitive to washing our hands and keeping apart,
And so less people are getting sick, or even from a general flu, which people consider like not to be that deadly or harmful.
Yeah.
Those numbers have gone down too.
I predict that when things are allowed to return to a more normal state, that there's going to be a wicked, just like cold flu going around, because we haven't been in contact with one another.
Yeah.
And our immune systems have kind of taken this break, kind of like from the outside world and from dealing with all these things that usually we have some kind of contact with in some way.
Do you think people,
So-
like, the medical field would just consider that as COVID-19? Like, the normal flu now, it will be considered as officially.
People are going to be a
Oh.
lot more eerie of it, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Like, if you're sick, please stay away from me, you know? You don't know what you have, right?
Chew. Back up.
So,
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy.
I know, like, this pandemic, it's been rough. Completely rough. How has it been affecting, well, not affecting, but, like, how has it
Been for you.
been for you? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
You're in school. You're online. How's that? How's the online school? You prefer in-person school? Or?
I prefer in person 100%. I miss just social interactions with people and getting to go places every day. Like, I think it's so sad how excited you can get to go to the grocery store now. The only freaking place that's open, you know?
True.
What a
Like-
world we live in.
Like, before, my mom would be like, you want to go to the grocery store? I'm like, nah, man, what is this now? Of
Oh my
course.
God, yes.
Of
It's a
course.
car ride. It's
Like,
it's an outing.
it's to the point where, like, you go to pick up your, like, curbside pickup, and you spend 30 minutes there just talking to the attendants, like, 6 feet away, and you're like, I haven't talked to anyone in, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
Please talk to me.
Even just
Yeah.
like the people walking around the St. Vincent Park, everyone's just like, everyone's craving a human interaction, right?
But I think that's just,
they're
like,
down
the,
to talk.
that's just the act of being Canadian. Like, we're just,
Maybe.
like, we just walk around and we will say hi to everyone walking by.
Literally anyone.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that this we've been blessed with obviously nice weather because we're out here right now, but I think that it's forcing people to get more active and move around and to even be more conscious of their health.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways, actually, this pandemic is good.
Right, like,
It's kind of a forced push because sometimes you need one.
There, again, this fire's kind of dying.
yeah,
it's
Matt, you wanna-
dying. Fix the fire.
See, that's what I mean. Like, just like that social interaction is, it's amazing just to get outside, get some fresh air, talk to your friends once in a while, you know?
I think it's really reconnected myself and I think others with nature too.
Right. Like, I'm an outdoors
I feel a
person.
sneeze coming.
Oh,
Oh, everyone back up, everyone
back up, boys. 6 feet.
False alarm! False
False alarm,
alarm!
false alarm.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's actually a question. You
So-
know, it's kind of this may sound really silly, and you
let's
may
hear it.
think, "What the heck?" But
no.
if you're in public and you have to sneeze, you know, if you sneeze in your mask, like you have to sit in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
how do you feel about that? I mean, obviously, the point of the mask is to like cover up those things,
You're
right?
there. Yeah.
But
Oh.
how do you feel about just like covering your elbow and like slightly taking it off to like sneeze?
I usually this may sound like a little weird, but I sneeze into my like shirt or whatever. Like
Yeah.
With
I
your
just-
mask on?
No, I take my mask
Oh,
off.
yeah.
And then I'll sneeze into there. At least I'm not like feeling it right on my face. I mean, it's
You know, because if you know, it's just like it's sitting on your face now, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not the
It's
best.
gross.
It's not the best. No.
No, it's really not. So
Yeah, I don't know what the proper thing is. Like, I assume people just expect you to.
they
sneeze
would
into your
probably be like,
mask.
keep your mask on and still cover your elbow, right? That's probably the
Yeah.
proper way.
I guess. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Comment down below. What do you do? What do you do if you sneeze? So what do you do? If you got your mask on. What do you do?
It's a valid question. Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of new things that this pandemic's brought up. Like, whether that be businesses, like people are finding opportunity in the littlest things. What is your plans for the future, Jill? Like, how do you stay focused with this new term coming up? What is some advice you would give? Like, you're a good student. What is some advice you would give to the audience out there who's doing online school?
I just had the best term I've ever had.
There you go.
In the middle of a pandemic, and I got a job in
Woo!
the middle of a pandemic.
Let's go.
So I'm feeling pretty good. I know not everybody's in the same boat. It's definitely different for every person out there. Honestly, though, I would say you know yourself best and you know how much you can handle. So keep that in mind. Maybe online school isn't your favorite and you're not doing the best in it, and maybe that means you take one less course, and then you spend that extra time that you would usually be spending on another course just like looking after yourself, right?
There you go.
Because I know that I I don't want to say I neglected to do that, but I didn't do as much maybe as I should have in the past terms. So just really like be gentle with yourself and be kind. You know, we're going through a really weird time being a human, and we just kind of need to be there and support one another through it, right? And but in terms of I guess setting yourself up for success in school, I would say make a schedule and hold yourself accountable. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell someone you can trust, and keep them accountable, keep yourself accountable. And I think that can really help maintain your focus and your motivation, because I know everyone goes into a semester, motivation levels are high, and after the first couple weeks, they really plummet, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh man, this sucks. I'm not interested anymore. But things aren't changing, and we have another whole term to get through, and then we get more of a break. And so it's just about putting your head down for a little while and making some sacrifices, but just knowing at the end all your hard work is going to pay off in some way. So
like it also comes down to like New Year's resolutions too, right? Like people.
Are you a believer in New Year's resolutions?
To an extent. I don't feel that you should need a time or a certain change in the
New year, new Robin?
No. Like, if you wanted to make a change, you could do it anytime. Like the day, you don't need to wait till the Monday. You don't need to wait till the week's over. You don't need to wait till the full hour is done.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a good like external motivator for people to be like, you know what, it is a new year, and I'm gonna try to make it the best I want. But again, like you said, like it people have motivation going in for the first couple weeks, and then it dies down.
Yeah.
Do you have any New Year's resolution? Are you a believer in New Year's resolutions, Jill?
To an extent, I think I agree too. I'm not like new year, new me kind of person, right? Like you're not gonna it's not realistic to think you're gonna wake up one day,
Change
the start
completely.
of a new year, and you're just gonna be a brand new person, right? Like you are who you are because of what you've gone through, and you know, like who you are surrounded with and stuff, and that's not gonna change on a dime. So I think that sometimes people are just filled with a little bit of unrealistic expectations they have for themselves, and you just kind of have to, you know, bring yourself to realize what can I actually accomplish. And I think that can make actually accomplishing them a lot easier when you realize, okay, this is something I can actually do, break it down into manageable parts, that kind of thing.
I think it comes down to like the reason people fail, like ideally like New Year's resolution speaking, they're not in love with the process, right? Like people will set a goal and be like, yes, I was reading a chapter about this last night on the subtle art of not giving a F. Anyways, and he was saying like, you're not in love with the process. Like you'll say someone wants to, like New Year's resolutions, I'm going to lose 100 pounds.
All your body weight.
You're going to wake up tomorrow and lose 100 pounds.
Yeah, like, you know, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not realistic. Like you got to be honest with yourself. Like you said, know your limits, know what the reason. I think the reason is why. Like we've talked about this. What's your why? Once you have that figured out, I think that's one of the main reasons that's going to push you.
That's really important. I think you just need to, when you get stuck or when you feel like you're in a rut and you're plateaued, I think you just kind of need to remind yourself, think back to why you started something to begin with and why you wanted to change to begin with, and just really come back to your why. I think that's it. It's all grounded. It's all rooted in your why, right?
Agreed.
And two, I guess another point, you have to have specific goals, right? Like, I want to do 10 push-ups every day or something, you know? Like, that's a specific number.
Yeah.
Not just saying, I'm going to do more push-ups, you know? Like, that's probably not really as motivating as saying, I'm going to do a specific number every day. You know, and I think that applies to a lot of things. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to eat more veggies, you know? Those are all great things, but
How
put some, like, value behind it, you know? True. How are you going to do it? How are you going to accomplish that? Who are you going to tell? That kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just like like your effort needs to be compounded, right? Like it's not going to happen overnight. You got to take each day. Yeah, it's a New Year's resolution, but you got a full year, right? So whatever your goal is or whatever your thing is, it's not going to happen overnight, like we said, but take one step at a time, and see what happens.
Like I say, each step of that staircase, it's got to have meaning. It's small steps at a time, and I think that's what makes the difference. Like, I think that's That's it for the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, giving us some amazing advice. For the viewers out there, thank you so much for watching, viewing, and listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave us some comments.
Answer the question.
Yeah.
We'll put a poll up. We probably won't.
Answer the questions, comment down below, and if you make sure to check us out on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. UMFM radio station at 101.5 FM. Until next time, peace.